Hello everybody, we are going to be taking a look at Street Racer Collection from QUByte Interactive. They provided me the game through Press Engine, so thank you to them. So let's take a look, shall we? Okay, we can rewind with left trigger. Okay, so if we mess up, I guess we can give that a go. Oh, it's a Pico game. Okay. Good afternoon, V. Oh yeah, it does work with rewind. Cool. Hey Jack, how are you? And thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, this feels weird. Well, at least you can rewind when you screw up. The way this game works is it's reminding me massively of Super Mario Kart, the SNES one. And thinking about it, probably would have came out about the same time, because this is 1994. Oh. Well, he just cheated. He just shortcutted. God, the controls for this are difficult. They're not good. The graphic... Oh. The controls are so... It feels like the more you turn... It generally feels like the more you turn, like for the longer that you turn, the more incrementally it turns quickly. Does that make sense? It feels I know how to explain this. This game feels like they've taken Super Mario Kart for the SNES, crossed it with BC Racers from DOS, and yes, I know that's going to be a callback for some people. That's going to be a massive callback for some people. Like, melded them together and made it look, quite frankly, worse. So, somebody say something in chat if you remember what BC Racers was, because BC Racers was actually really good. Something I remember as a kid. I really enjoyed playing. God, this is so bad. It's nearly impossible to avoid not being slowed down by the... I mean, why the frig is there a freaking metal bar, or whatever it is, halfway in the middle of the bloody track, just stopping you? That's bad game design. Why is that a thing? Oh, for fuck's sake. Get out of the way, Sumo Sam. What we got first, at least? No, BC Racers on DOS was actually... It had the same kind of mechanic in this game where you can hit to the right and to the left, but it used a different graphical style. It was more... it was less pixelated and more smooth. Like, the graphics were much clearer than what is in this one. I don't know what the star bonus was. Yeah, I'm getting major flashbacks to BC Racers with the hitting. But if I remember rightly, when you played it on DOS, and I could be wrong here, because my memory is nowhere near as good as it used to be. I believe... come on, Dwaggy, words. I believe... the controls were like to hit to the side, because obviously you would have been using keyboard on DOS, obviously. I do believe that the controls would have been obviously the arrow keys to move, and I think you would have had WASD for hitting in direction, or maybe it was just A and D for left and right, because I don't recall that you could hit forward and backwards on that. Oh, this is really hard to control. I'm sure you can see what I mean when the turning is not smooth. It does seem to be exponentially increasing in turning ferocity, in turning power, the longer you hit. Like, it's not a consistent degree of turn. Does that make sense? Like, it doesn't stay at the amount of speed turn that you do. Like, it increases the longer you hold it, and it doesn't work well. I mean, that's what I think. Of course, this is just the first game in the collection. I think there's 4 or 5 in the collection, so... Yeah, you can definitely exploit... you can definitely exploit the rewind on this to get first and everything. God, the turning on this is abhorrent. I'm not gonna lie. It's really, really abhorrent. The worst part of the game easily is the turning. It's so bad. Like, genuinely, it's bad. It's very, very hard to control. It's genuinely horrible to control. And graphically, it's even tough to see what you're looking at, to be honest. Oh, this is different. Still hard to see what's going on though. Like, you have a mini-map, but it's so out of place on the game. Like, it's top left. You have to completely move your eyes from where you're going to look at the mini-map, which to me is bad placement. You would think that perhaps a better place for the minimap would have been bottom left, for example. Oh, God's sake, the turning on this is abhorrent. It's like you're constantly on ice when you turn. So instead of a constant turn, you have to like tap, but when you tap to turn, you don't turn as much as you need, so it's either too little or too much. You literally cannot get it in the just right position, if that makes sense. For fuck's sake. See what I mean? It's just... it's so bad. Get out of the way. It is so hard to control. Like, genuinely, it's hard to control. To be honest, finish a process race, finish a race that has 20 more. Bloody hell. Complete the bronze cup, complete the silver cup, complete the gold cup, score a goal in non-practice. So, 4 of those we know that you can rewind if you mess up. So they should be easy. NPA, I don't know what that is. So these must be the different version. Ah, there's the DOS version. Unlock all achievements. So it doesn't look like you actually have anything to... Dwaggy words. Doesn't like you actually have anything that requires like knocking out characters from what I can see. God, the graphics are so bad. It's so hard to see where you're going. It's just so fuzzy. I'm playing this, by the way, with smoothing on as well. If I had it with pixel perfect, it would look even worse. I mean, I know originally this would have been displayed like on a CRT, which is fair enough. But oh, this is horrible to look at. It's very, very hard to see what's coming up before you're even there. And if you look at the minimap, it's not tremendously accurate, let's be honest. How many races are there on each bloody cup as well? Eight, maybe? No, 6 races, I think it was. Okay. So the question is, the question that needs to be asked, can we rewind on every game? Because if you can, how do I get back to the original thing? Exit to main menu. Yes. The DOS one does not have rewind. So the DOS one is probably going to be far more difficult. Actually, no, it just says complete the Platinum Cup. You don't have to win it. Well, at least that's what it says. So theoretically, it should be simple, because you don't have to complete it. Let's take a look at the DOS version, shall we? God, playing a DOS game on the Xbox Series. Who'd have thought it? Game mode normal or micro? What's the difference? Novice or expert difficulty easy. Split screen, well, we're not going to be using that. Number of laps, we could lower that to like 5. Micro mode, I don't know what that means. Ah! You could use passwords for the cup password. I wonder... if you could use a password to get to the last race of each thing. Let's just test theoretically. I'm gonna Google Street Racer DOS Cup passwords. Let's see. That's for PlayStation. Street Racer cheats. That's for Genesis. I'm going to sneeze. I'm genuinely curious now. Okay, Platinum Cup is apparently a code called Dougal. So let's try that. Let's see if this actually works. There you go then. Yes, it does. So we can now unlock. We can now play Platinum Cup, apparently. There you go. You can unlock Platinum Cup. I still can't unsee how her special just looks like a giant bra coming out the side of a car. I can't unsee it. Well, that's just me being horrible, but I legitimately cannot unsee it. Oh! This was not what I was expecting. This was not what I was expecting at all. Okay, hang on. Oh god, that camera movement is horrible. This is horrible. This is horrible for... This was not what I was expecting at all, compared to like the last game that we just did. The non-DOS one, the one that I assume was the SNES. Or the NES, or whatever the original one was on. What are the controls for this? Oh, actually, we can use cheats as well. Huh! Okay, there's cheats that we can use as well. Did not know that. Okay, that's going to be easier then. Okay, what are the controls? Okay, confirm it shrink. A is accelerate, apparently. Turbo is LT on this. Okay. Get infinite turbo. Holy crap. It actually works as well. I really should avoid going into that though, shouldn't I? Well, there's your lesson for the day, guys. You should always check what's in the menus. So it did say we get extra championship points, so I'm guessing this might mean that we always will win the cup anyway. Let's see what it does. Oh, it looks like we do actually have to place. Okay, well, at least now we know. But with the infinite turbo, that should be much easier now. Okay, let's take a look at one of the other games that does have rewind. So it does theoretically mean that you could complete this relatively easy. Even though the DOS one doesn't have rewind, the others do. So the first three, N16, NP8 and S16, will be much better. Or will be easier to get all the achievements in. So the only one that you could really work with is DOS, but then you have cheats that you can use in the menu for those. So we haven't taken a look at the N16 version, but to be honest, that was the one that we did look at. We haven't taken a look at the NP8. What was the NP8? Oh god, that looks horrible. Let's just take a look at the NP8 one, because that genuinely looks horrible. Oh, this has to be Game Boy. This has to be Game Boy. God, look at the pixelation. Oh, yeah. If there's any confirmation what this was, I'm convinced this was Game Boy. God, look at that. You can barely read the text. That's horrible. Look at those pictures, like those icons. The icons legitimately look a right mess. They're barely distinguishable. God, you can barely distinguish that is horrendous. That's nearly unplayable. That is genuinely nearly unplayable. The only saving grace is that we have rewind. Genuinely, that is the only saving grace. I have to say, you can barely distinguish the other races on the road itself. They're nearly invisible. That is really bad. When it's a game of this state, I'm lost for words. If this was on the Game Boy, or some other similar product of the time, this is without a shadow of a doubt the worst looking game that I have ever seen in my entire life. It would have been better to just have the road one colour and have the races the most opposite colour, white. So black and white. That is genuinely. Although I noticed a cheat there for finishing the race, so maybe it does it automatically with you winning, I don't know. That is genuinely the worst game that I've ever seen on any collection on Xbox. And it's not even close. I mean, I understand the low pixels that they had to work with. It would have been like 128 by 128 or whatever the Game Boy was, or the equivalent console that this was put on. And I'm aware that this is nearly 30 years old. I'm aware of that. But if you're bringing a collection, yeah. But I'll say, if you're bringing a collection, you could have literally just changed the graphics in the game to have the road just pitch black, or whatever the darkest colour is that they call it. They could have changed that. Because, I mean, as you saw, you could barely see the other racers. You could barely see yourself on the track. Because, I mean, look, we're working with, what, 4 colours there? You got black, white, light grey, dark grey. And that's basically it, isn't it? I mean, that is genuinely the worst looking game I've ever seen. Right, shall we take a look at what I assume was the SNES version? Possibly PlayStation 1 S16. What would that have been? S16. What would that have been? 16-bit had to be. Although this is 1995, so this is before the Game Boy. So you look at this one, and you look at what they put on the Game Boy 1 year later. You know? I mean, look at the difference. I mean, for a start, you can actually see where you're bloody going. So, I mean, this is clearly the superior version of all 4 games of the collection. Oh, Sega. It could have been Sega. Yeah, it could have been Mega Drive. Mega Drive was 16-bit, wasn't it? Yes. Oh! I've just got the code. S for Sega, N for Nintendo. It had to have been that, yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ, look at the turning on that. I take it back. Looks better. Controls like dog shit. Oh my God, look at this. Look at this. What is this? The control input on this is so laggy. It's like a 1 second delay for every control input that you put on. It is so laggy. Like, legitimately. It's worse than if you're playing on ice. It literally feels like you're playing over a 300 ping connection. I mean, I'm able to adjust, but I'm having to put movements in like 1.5, 2 seconds before I want it to do it. Oh my God, this is really bad. This is legitimately bad. I'm legitimately struggling to keep the car on the road. Right, what are the controls? We've got cheats, infinite turbo, reduce attack cooldown, make player 1 finish the race. Oh, we can edit car stats, can we? Cool. Ah! So you can use the cheat to just get first place. Well, that makes things easier, doesn't it? Well, that answers that question then. This game is... I feel that the emulation for this title, or for all of these titles actually, is not up to snuff. And I think that had the cheats not been put into the game, and I do honestly believe they've been put into the game specifically for this reason, that a lot of the races might become unwinnable because of the delay in the response for at least this, I assume, Sega title. So obviously we've got DOS. So NP8, that must have been NP8. So that's got to be Nintendo Game Boy 8 bits. Actually, no, 4-bit. That would have been 4-bit, wouldn't it? So N16 would have been SNES, maybe? 1994, that would have been SNES, wouldn't it? S16, so I'm going to assume that's Mega Drive. And then obviously DOS is DOS. S16 might have been PlayStation as well. PlayStation 1 maybe. N16 might have been PlayStation 1 as well. But yeah, well, everything works. But if you're looking for a game that works well, then you're not going to be finding one here in regards to the controller inputs. Especially on the S16 version, there does seem to be a gigantic delay. In regards to the NP8, it's not good looking. Let's just put it at that, shall we? I don't think this is obviously how things look. It's not QUByte's fault. You know, you've given what you've got to work with, but I do feel that it is their fault that they didn't change anything to make it easier on the eyes. Because as I said, we had a look at this version and it's nearly impossible. Like, you can distinguish the characters on this track on this little video on the left, but when you're actually playing the game, they are nearly indistinguishable from the road itself. You can barely see your own character because of just how poor the game looks. And it's like, at this situation, you would have think perhaps it would have been a better idea to just change the road graphic to be a solid color. That would have made the quality of life of the game much, much more bearable. But yes, this has been Street Racer Collection from QUByte, which provided me the code through Press Engine. Thank you everybody for watching.